Hey guys, Masaru here, financial planner and lead financial coach at Onvisor, and today we are talking with my good friend Zach Dallaire. How's it going, man?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Fantastic.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So Zach is a local entrepreneur. He's had his hands, I think you have your hands in a few businesses now,
Yeah.
partaking. He's also an athlete, as well as an all-around pretty good guy. He's co-founder of Cecil and Sons Haberdashers here in Moncton, which does fantastic stuff. You guys need to check him out sometime for sure. Me and Zach went to high school together as well as business school together here in Moncton. So I'm glad to have him. Thanks for joining me. So what have you been up to lately, Zach?
Not too much, Brian. It's been busy. Summer kind of keeps things, trying to sneak in some golf, some running. Like you said, just training for a few events. So
Okay.
working that around the whole work schedule and business schedule. So I mean, doing a bit of juggling, but things have been good.
Working it out?
Working it out.
Yeah.
Always.
Cool. So what we're gonna do is ask you a couple questions, both personal and professional questions, and you just give me your 2 cents and what we can any kind of value we can provide to these folks watching out there. So Zach, when did you start working with people professionally? So with other people in sales or other? Yeah.
So interesting. I always had an ease of working with people. I've always liked people. And really that rooted from early on, I think 15 years old, working at Lakeside Golf Course.
Is that where you started?
I started there, yeah. So super interesting. You get to, you're mingling with people that are much older than you.
Yeah.
Working with mostly people your own age, but the members that you serve are all older. And you just have to have a certain maturity. So I kind of grabbed that young.
Nice.
I mean, I was well raised by my parents, and just kind of to have a good attitude around people was I guess the first step. But then to be exposed to older members and to have them, to interact with them and eventually become buddies with them.
Right.
I think that's where I got my start in kind of dealing with people and certainly more mature people, and I think it matured me as well.
Even business people, I mean, a lot of business owners do golf a fair bit, so...
Absolutely, yeah.
Because you also worked at Lamindal. That's the first job I would have remembered, but I forgot you worked at Lakeside.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting because like Lakeside started at the driving range, so you just, you're juggling balls in between clients and
tickets.
And you're punching punch passes and I mean, working with the people there, and then you kind of grow into the pro shop was the spot that you want to be. So then you're dealing directly with the customers, dealing with bag storage and stuff like that. So it's a whole service level. Nice. But it was interesting that through that I got to work. I got to meet the guys from Fox Creek. Right. Which then got me a job at Fox Creek golf course. So I had gone over there to work, which was great. And then through that I got to meet the guys at Lamindal. So one of the members at Fox Creek was buddies with Frank and Andre at Lamindor. Yeah. And that's how that kind of shuffled over. Yeah. So it's interesting how that progression happens and how just the natural kind of networking seeps in. And Lamindal just selling expensive watches and diamonds, and there you kind of have to learn how to deal with a higher end product. Yeah,
the experience of it all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
An experience, and you're dealing with people that are spending disposable income on a lot of expensive items. So there's a level of service there and comfort you have to have with the clients. Yeah. So it was really neat just kind of have that progression.
Okay, that's really interesting. Did your friends and connections have an impact on your personal and professional life? So what kind of impact, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, personal life, it was, once again, just dealing with the people that were older and more mature than I was, and kind of learning from them, the good and the bad sometimes. You then get a certain comfort. So, I mean, personally, I think it helps you grow or get that maturity a little faster, ease of being with people and talking to people. Right. It's certainly a confidence booster that I think compounds on itself from there. And then professionally, I mean, just the networking that you get through, meeting, in my case, it was members or customers, owners of in this case was businesses, golf courses, or jewelry stores.
Right.
And then that just kind of grows as long as you treat people kind of the way you want to be treated.
Right.
Which is an old cliche, but realistically, I mean, we can probably see in our own circle of business friends and personal friends that you usually associate with people that have the same values as
Right.
you. So, yeah, I mean, speaking to people the way you want to be spoken to or treated, that just kind of, it just all seems to kind of grow.
Has a ripple effect kind of thing,
absolutely,
right? Yeah, I think people, when you have a good experience with somebody, whether it's a retailer or a service-oriented business, when you're treated like you're really, like you're important, and when that person legitimately cares about, your experience, you don't forget that, right?
No.
So you don't forget it, and then you remember it the next time you see them, and then it kind of compounds on its own. So service and caring and giving that little extra, keeping your word and stuff, I think is great, even when it comes to networking and connections, because, those are the connections you don't forget.
No.
Right? And you don't really want people to forget about you if you're trying to mean well and advance.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
What are some of the best lessons you've learned from your network, so over the years? So whether they're personal or professional or etc.
That would be the first one. I mean, because you don't really even build a network without having a certain personality or a certain care for others.
Right.
So, I mean, early on, just kind of learning that. But then as a good friend of mine, I remember saying I was looking for a job at the time, and he had said, you got to use your network and not use in a negative way, but you have to you build connections over the years, and you can't be afraid to reach out and to, go for a coffee or grab lunch, because those connections often lead to others.
Yeah.
And as you kind of chat with these people, something else might open up, and it might not even be that person, or maybe the business he's in or she's in doesn't fit with what you can offer, but they go, oh my God, there is one thing, there's a buddy that I know that. So I mean,
you should meet so and so.
Exactly. So it's really just to get out there and meet people and chat with people and listen when they're talking, because sometimes we get a little caught up in talking about our own thing.
Right.
Whereas when you sit there and listen to what they're saying and really listen to what they're saying and then just kind of give your feedback, I think that kind of grows. So no, that would be the biggest one, is actually take that leap and reach out to your network and use those people, because you might even be helping them by sitting down with them.
True.
I mean, sometimes that's kind of synergy, right?
Yeah.
I rarely do you get up after a coffee or a lunch and you think, it wasn't really worth it. And if it's not, it's probably your own fault for not digging a little deeper.
Yeah.
I think we've all probably been in that situation, where you sit down and you have one goal in mind for a meeting. Maybe it's a sales pitch, or maybe it's just to get certain information or knowledge from someone. And then all of a sudden they open up a crack of something else. Yeah. And you dig into that and you go, okay, like I have a kind of an experience in whatever that may be. Yeah. And then that grows into something else, and all of a sudden you've sat there for 3 hours and you know much more than you knew before, and maybe it opens up opportunity. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah. No, I like that. There's a lot of echoes of How to Win Friends and Influence People. Did you read that book?
I haven't.
You haven't?
Not yet.
Pretty much everything that you were like, kind of, sit down, listen, it resonates a lot, and that book is sold millions and millions of copies. It's the first professional book that I if I can find it, I'll lend it to you.
I like to own them. You gotta own them.
Yeah, they're like trophies, aren't they?
Well, I don't want to read your notes.
Oh right.
And I'll take my own.
Write double notes. Notes about the notes.
But that's super important. I mean that would be the biggest 100%. Thing. We're talking about networking and connecting today, and that's huge. Because
we all have our own network. Like some of us have bigger networks, smaller networks, but there's always we tend to think we have to aim for the most valuable person in our network and to reach out, and then sometimes we feel kind of small and we don't really want to reach out, but gradually build the habit of reaching out. I've done that with lunches and coffees for about 1 year, 2 years now. It's been tremendous to reconnect with people and get closer, and then all of a sudden, there's this kind of magic happens. difference.
It's huge.
Yeah.
I was in a meeting this morning that I didn't really think it was actually just to talk about a certain project, and honest to God, I woke up not dreading, but thinking, there's nothing going to come out of this.
Right.
And there was nothing that came out of that specific topic that we spoke about, but we spoke another half hour on 2 other opportunities that will kind of turn into something over the next year. And it's just a prime example that if you don't, we all, especially with technology and text messages and emails, the amount of meetings that you want to back out of last minute.
Yeah, because you can.
Because you can, and you go, you know what, let's just push this, or let's not do it. But when you take it and you actually take the time and you sit there and invest yourself in it,
right?
It can potentially grow into something.
Yeah.
They don't always, but
no, but it's worth the chance.
For sure.
It's worth the energy.
The worst case scenario is you're caffeinated after.
Which leads me to my next question. Do you think investing in relationship development can deliver professional results?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like career advancement or business advancement or bringing your whatever it is, career or business to the next level?
Yeah, I remember I was in a big corporation for 5-6 years and just being very comfortable.
Right.
And when you sit there in your comfort, it seems like a different life on how I kind of attack things.
Right.
Whereas I guess I was pushed to have to go network or use my network after that. But I remember during that tenure, you're very comfortable and you sit back and you go, well, I do my job, I wake up, you do your thing.
Circle a bit smaller.
Right.
Yeah, right.
You don't really utilize. And then by doing that and kind of letting yourself, stoop in that comfort, we'll call it, people don't reach out to you either.
Right. It's a two-way street.
Yeah, which is terrible. I remember there were people that would reach out to me and I'd be all excited. I'm like, yes, he's in an industry I'd love to be in. And they'd reach out for, something free or reach out for,
right.
And you think, oh shit, I have so much more to offer. But if you don't work it,
yeah,
and you just stay comfortable, then you don't. So professionally, you have to go out and dig. It's not easy, but I could understand because I've been there. People they just kind of sit back. They go through the thing, and 5 turns into 10 years, and 10 turns into 20 pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And you're like, shit. When I was 30, I wish I would have done this.
Mm-hmm. Or tried this.
Right. And you really don't know until you put yourself out there and you say, hey, I'm interested in this.
Yeah.
You're in that world. How can I get in?
Yeah.
And then that might open up doors, and all it takes is one opportunity.
Yeah. And it doesn't always pay dividends right away. But I think over the long term, more and more dividends tend to drip from either the same relationship you're trying to cultivate or I think you might as well, spread your aim wide and meet and, have coffee or whatever with everybody that might, that you find interesting. But
absolutely.
And then
there's a book called Never Eat Alone. Which
I heard about that book, have yet to buy it. But
same, so I haven't read it, but I can only assume that it's about networking, and it's about that, grabbing that coffee or that lunch with someone and giving thoughtful questions and actually listening when they answer them and understand it's so neat, and it takes time to develop that skill of understanding a person's energy or what people are what they're talking about when they actually say things, and once you kind of get that and you start realizing he's willing to take a chance on me, or there's something else here, and
he opened up here, or there's
and that doesn't happen over phone usually, or it doesn't happen via email or LinkedIn. It's that face to face. To go back to what we started with is if you've built that character in yourself, or you built that
habit almost,
then you got to use that, and that's your opportunity, so you got to take those for sure.
Sweet.
Well,
I think we pretty much covered some of this already, but what are the benefits of maintaining good personal and professional? So once you've kind of cultivated some people or the habit of reaching out, eating out or whatever with people, what are the benefits of maintaining those relationships?
The maintenance of them, that's, I think, sometimes just digging back
Yeah.
Digging back into, I mean, even if it's flicking through your contacts and you go, oh shoot, like,
Yeah.
I had coffee with that person 3-4 years ago. I wonder what they're up to now.
Yeah.
Or even when you travel, I think that's some of the most interesting. We're in a bit of a bubble here, let's call it Atlantic Canada, and certainly in Moncton, because we grew up here. But it's neat when you travel, oftentimes, you know, you come home, I'm sure, with a pocket full of business cards.
Yeah.
Whether you're there for business or not, usually Maritimers have that attitude and that kind of way of speaking to people that usually makes them feel at ease. You know, oftentimes we get that.
Yeah.
And to actually reach out and send that email or pick up the phone and give that person a call, and all of a sudden, you know, someone on the other side of the country or continent or overseas is saying, yeah, there's a neat opportunity doing this. And this might have nothing to do with starting a business or growing your own. It might have something to do with, you know, jumping to a new business, or you just never know.
Yeah.
It's such a small world now.
Yeah.
And we're so easily connected.
Yeah.
That
Totally.
just to even maintain those relationships, oftentimes in smaller cities, you run into the people and
That's right.
wherever it may be, but to keep in touch with those other ones, I think that's what, and I mean, that's the power of follow-up too.
Right.
Oh, thanks for the card, I'll send you a note, you never do.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you do a year later and it was actually kind of worth it. So you also followed through with something you said you'd do. So there's a little bit of, not only do they like you, but they see that you've kept your word. So.
Yeah, and you didn't forget them, and then there's kind of a...
No, yeah.
So what can somebody do to help themselves cultivate better relationships, or a network, if you want to call it?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just to get uncomfortable there.
Right. Stepping a little bit outside your comfort zone.
Yeah, there's a lot of sayings that say you have to get uncomfortable once a day, which sounds actually probably hard to find something every day, and it might be a little too much, but what if once a week that you went outside your network?
Yeah.
It's easy for me to call you and, hey Mars, you want to go for a coffee?
Yeah.
But I step into someone that's, you know, maybe a friend's friend or a contact's contact, and you go out with them and they don't know really why you're here. We've all been in those like kind of awkward meetings where they're like, I don't know what he wants. Or at the end of the coffee or lunch, they go, tell you the truth, I didn't know why we were sitting here, but it's kind of neat and it's
I enjoyed it. And,
So I think that's one of the biggest things is actually to do it.
Yeah. Get to know people.
Yeah. Get those conversations in. So to grow that network, you have to start somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I think my biggest advice to anyone looking for a job or looking for opportunity is to get that discomfort, to send a message or pick up the phone or even reach out to one of your contacts to see if they can make it happen.
Yeah.
And to sit in that awkward meeting and to feel sweaty getting out of the car and to think, you know, probably maybe this will turn out to be nothing, but to get that discomfort, because I think that opens up, once again, when you travel or when you are in a meeting that might be very beneficial to you, you have that kind of muscle memory. Yeah,
that familiar feeling, and I like that feeling sometimes. Like you can kind of train yourself that you do it so often that it's like, it's kind of a rush, right? So instead of feeling crappy, you kind of get excited about it. It's like, oh geez, I haven't felt this way in a while, and it's cool. So
absolutely, no, it's huge. I mean, actually, just this business that we started here, so we always wanted to get into the clothing world, and my business partner in this, he went to different school. We had met briefly through an exchange program through a COA. Okay. We had gone to done an export. Yeah. If you remember that in school, you export a product to New England. Right. I had met him through that.
No way.
Yeah. So we were actually roommates on that trip. Okay. And he was from a different school. He's English, so not from the same backgrounds either. And I mean, we reconnected. It would be 10 years later. No way. Right? So, and not really kept in touch. We're not close buddies. It was just reconnect, two like-minded guys we were looking to get into the clothing world. We saw a gap in the market, and he had 10, 11 years experience in it.
Okay.
So just kind of grabbing that.
Yeah.
You know, this wasn't a natural, organic, he's been my childhood friend growing up.
Mhm.
It was really just kind of grabbing your network, which in this
Yeah.
case, it was two people looking to get into the same industry, putting it together and creating
Kind of like a
something.
reconnection more than anything.
Yeah. So I mean, it's neat and then now that we're in business, it's interesting because the people that I served at Lemon Door 15 years ago, or I guess 10, 15 years
10
ago,
plus, yeah.
or the golf guys or girls that I used to deal with back at the golf course or whatever it is have walked through the door and we're putting suits or shirts on their back.
Yeah.
And this is all just this cycle of, you know, it started somewhere.
Mm-hmm. That's excellent.
Yeah, it's really, really
That's
neat.
cool.
So I mean, that is network and relationships.
I mean, cultivates.
Yeah.
And you know, you only reap what you sow.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, plug time. What is it you guys do here?
I
at
tried
Cecil
to
and
plug
Sons?
there anyway.
I know, but I want to I want
Um,
people to know what it is you guys do here.
Yeah, thanks. No, we so we were looking to get into the clothing world. Two business guys that like clothes, saw a gap in I call it Atlantic Canadian market.
Yeah.
We've traveled quite a bit to bigger cities and overseas and that separately, but to see what other cities have and the whole custom world. I mean, it's a little harder to get people through the door, especially here we're by appointment only.
Yeah.
But once they're through the door, then we can open their eyes to, you know, when you go to a store, there might be 50 shirts on the rack, and only 2 of them fit you. Therefore, you're stuck with a certain pattern with those 2 shirts. So we want to flip that around and say, well, no, we'll do the work on the back end to get all the fabrics and all the patterns and keep it top quality. And when you come in, our job is just to make sure it fits.
Yeah.
So we've worked on our systems and gotten them pretty dialed in to a point where we do one fitting. We have some try-on garments that you can try on here, and we pick the pattern. So you just mix and match the fit, pick the fabric. It comes in. If there are any issues, then we can alter it.
Yeah.
But 95% of the time they're perfect and they're dead on, just because we've kind of worked on the system and yeah. So it's really flipping it backwards.
Okay.
With this, we don't have overhead. We don't have a massive overhead that retail would have.
Yeah.
We don't have inventory like retail would have. That kind of suffocates well, I mean, it certainly increases your price.
Yeah. For sure.
But it also suffocates the business.
Mm-hmm.
So we've freed ourselves of that, and now we're mobile. So we're able to travel. You know, we're spending a week in Charlottetown and Halifax. We have some guys down in New York City that we do.
So mobile fittings, and then you got kind of have your samples, your catalogs.
Yeah.
So you get to basically custom order your shirts, and it, you know, more or less it'll fit.
Yeah.
Or you'll make it fit.
Yeah. So I mean, the space is occupied by a lot of online right now.
Yeah. Okay. Totally.
Yeah.
I see them all like Instagram feeds.
Absolutely, and they're interesting, and I had bought into them. But just through the industry, we've kind of met people talking about certain rates of return on these products. So, you know, there's something about the human, you know, when there's someone who's been in the industry for 10, 15 years, who can fit you up, sees how your shoulders slope, sees how you might have a chest that's out, know what kind of pull you're going to get in that sports coat. That human touch you really can't do with 15 measurements online. So I mean that eliminates a lot of the kind of return and I mean that's the experience too. So
the experience. I love it. I've been in here 3 times already, and every time I'm like, this place is so cool.
It's pretty neat. Yeah, thank you.
So thank you very much, man.
Thanks, Mars. Appreciate it.
So you guys definitely come check them out here. Cecil and Sons Haberdashers. They're on Facebook, Instagram. Follow them, and we'll catch you guys later. Cheers.
Thank you.